All right, hey guys, what is going on? It is Isaiah, Intelligent Psycho, back in here with another recap. So yes, of course, SGA, the reigning back-to-back MVP, league MVP, finals champion. Of course, going look at a repeat as he ends up leading the OKC Thunder, and they tied the series at one game apiece over the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle. Now, of course, the OKC Thunder were dealing with injuries to Jalen Williams, J-Dub. He continued to play. He played last night, along with, and also in Game 1. So he's dealing with that, but it came back and really is really took flight also to help out with SGA, and also that was led by Alex Caruso and led by Casey Wallace, Jared McCain. Isaiah Joe out the bench gave it a few buckets as well. But the story pretty much for OKC, SGA finds his particular way from the mid range over Julian Champagnie, Stephon Castle, and etc. etc. His jump shooting ability and also his ability to create and drive to the basket was able to lead OKC to a really solid win, and they was able to tie the series. Now, a lot of people, of course, would know for anybody if OKC would have went down and would have been down 2-0, lost whole court advantage, it would have been an obvious, complete hole for them to climb out of in order for them to, get back in the series against the Spurs. So it would have been a complete mental, gymnastics and hurdle if they would have lost last night. But the fact that they continued to surge and continue to play within their own level of maturity and substantial ability and capability and was firing on all cylinders, it just goes to show you that OKC continues to surge. They continue to find ways, different ways of being creative, inventive. I got to give a lot of credit to SGA and Chet Holmgren later on down the stretch, in the fourth quarter. They was able to neutralize and slow down the rest of the other shooters, especially without the larks and services of Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox. Because both of them were not able to give it a go. And well, actually, Dylan Harper left in the beginning of the third quarter. Excuse me, he was able to go, but he ended up leaving in the middle of the third quarter due to a ankle sprain. And De'Aaron Fox was not able to go because of his injury. So that's a bigger problem for the San Antonio Spurs, because I feel like their offense without De'Aaron Fox and also the bench going without Dylan Harper is going to really affect them. And I haven't seen them play without both of those guys in the lineup. So that's going to really hurt them. We've seen OKC and how they perform well without Jalen Williams. But I have not seen the San Antonio Spurs at their heights career right now without the services. Excuse me. Without the services of the Dylan Harper or De'Aaron Fox. We've seen OKC play great without J-Dub, but on the other side, it's just going to be a bigger hole and a bigger story to really look at. And also the thing that really worries me at certain times about the Spurs is the turnovers, and which is led by Stephon Castle, because he combined for the last 2 games against the same team has combined for 20 plus turnovers. That's not a good sign for your star, point guard, for your starting point guard to be combined for 20 plus turnovers. That must means that not only the defense with OKC is swarming, but also because he's handling the ball like around 65-70% of the time, and he becomes a little bit reckless and careless. At a young age like that, you could be tend to turn to do something like that, do those things, and it tends to backfire on you. And a thing like that to me is very, 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 very often, because it feels like as much with the Spurs, they don't seem to really find a way to keep an eye on with the team, and they don't seem like they really feel like they moving forward. If they're gonna find a way to win this series, They cannot turn the ball over, and they cannot give opportunities for OKC to drive and get inside and get in towards the basket, get to the paint, because that's going to be a big problem for them moving forward if they continue to let these things happen. But at the end of the day, that's the key for San Antonio. Now, the key for San Antonio, if they want to continue to fight and win this series, they got to find a way to not turn the ball over, not be so loose, and not be careless with the basketball. And if they want to try to find a way also to win this series, of course, Victor Wembanyama, he's really got to get going. He's really got to kick it into all gear and kick it in all cylinders. As far as attacking at the rim, altering shots, being creative, getting down low. Also, that really helps the matters out, and it really pushes the game and pushes the needle forward. So I really am excited to see more of them move forward. And of course, Game 3 is tonight. I'll talk about it another time. I'll talk about it in another few hours or so before the game goes on in the preview, and probably in a short video. But yeah. But for OKC, I feel like SGA and that Oklahoma City Thunder team is so tough and to deal with, especially on the road. And if they want to win this series and get back to the finals, they got to get everybody else to come into a new gear, especially Jalen Williams. He's gonna have to be a key factor, and as well as the bench, getting from Isaiah Joes and Jerry McCains and Alex Caruso, all of them, Aaron Wiggins, all of them have to be a really big key, a big major factor. It's got to be at least all 11, 12 guys in this series in order for them to win it, because it can't just be just SGA, because they're going to find ways to slow him down. San Antonio just knows how to play them guys. They know how to box out. They know how to really close out in front of them. So that's going to be a big concern if OKC, their bench, can't get themselves going. But I believe they can. I believe they will get going. I will believe that they will show up in this remainder of this series. I think their bench is going to be a huge X factor, from the guys I said. And I do believe, in my honest opinion, that they're going to be a team that's destined to really be looked out for if you want to try to slow them down. And I really believe that that they got the team capable enough to go back and repeat. And I picked them to repeat, at the beginning point, before the beginning point of the playoffs, the postseason. And I predicted them to face off against the Celtics. I'm very disappointed in the Boston Celtics because they really did not come to their standard. But that was my initial pick to go to the finals. But now, since they've been eliminated, I still think OKC will get there. But it's probably going to more than likely be the New York Knicks, which I will be talking about them in another several minutes or so. But yeah, with the OKC, it's just that they find ways to get the job done. They find ways down in the fourth quarter, down the stretch, because they know their closer is SGA, so they're going downhill. They're going to go down all the way. And also, he was very key defensively to making key stops, making key transition plays, getting to the basket. And like I said, with Jalen Williams, he was able to get to the basket and able to finish and drive and penetrate. And also, that was led by Lou Dort, Caruso, and so on and so forth, others penetrating and really opening up the offense for them. They're a tough team to handle. They're a team to really contain and control. And I just feel like a lot of people should really pay attention to them and really watch them and study them, because, like I said, they're a very tough team to really handle and put down. If you want to put them down and take them down, you really have to put them down in a way where it makes them feel, I guess, vulnerable and less invincible. And another thing that really it ties back to a lot of other things move forward. OKC finds different ways defensively to attack you. They find different ways to double team and triple team you, to take the ball out of the best player's hands and really force the action. And you could tell from the stats last night, both teams were shooting well from the field. Both were over 45%. Both shot good from the 3-point line. But the difference really what it was because OKC had 12 more assists, very unselfish. OKC had 14 steals. They had 9 turnovers, and the Spurs had 21 turnovers, and they scored 27 points off of those turnovers. And that was a really big difference. And points per possession was a key thing. The Thunder had way more points per possession than them, and like I said, the points in the paint was kind of very much even out because the Thunder, like I said, had more assists, and they really was getting inside and attacking the rim, and they also, like I said, led by SGA's willingness and willingness to attack, but also the drive and the hunger from Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein also. But like I said, this bench led by A.J. Mitchell, Casey Walls, McCain, and Caruso were the complete difference makers throughout this entire stretch of run. And we will see how they're gonna fare out tonight, because it's gonna be very interesting. Headed back to San Antonio, we'll see how they're gonna do, but it's gonna be a chess match. It's gonna be a dogfight. Now, getting to the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Knicks pretty much are taking control of possession of this series, and like I said, it's looking like the Knicks are pretty much going to go back to go to the NBA Finals, and they're going to get back to the prominence and relevance, led by the way last night of Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, OG, and Cat. All of them were in complete double figures. They found different ways to really get involved and really attack down low. They slowed down Jared Allen. They slowed down Evan Mobley and completely forced their hand and really just crash the boards and dominate. Donovan Mitchell was a big factor last night. Had 26 points. James Harden was not. He was absolutely atrocious. And they really slowed down Cleveland's bench, slowed down Sam Merrill and Max Strus. Both of them only combined for 9 points and was 2 for 15 from the field. So yeah, the Knicks really slowed them down defensively. The Knicks have been one of the top 3 as far as outside perimeter defense in the game, as far as getting out to shooters, getting out to the 3-point line. They really found different ways to win. They found different ways to really get it done. To really push the game forward and move the game forward. And again, that was led by all 5 of the starters with Mikal, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and so on and so forth. They really found a way to really be dominant. They really found a way to make the game more simplified and more easier for them. And I really like the fact that they really just had led the game and controlled the time possession moving forward. And I really think that they're going to be a team that's, like I said, that's destined to get back to that cusp. Really important that they stay the course, stay the par, because Cleveland's going to try to come with fire in Game 3. But like I said, I think it's just going to be a little bit too late. It's going to be a little bit too late. It's going to be a little bit too shortly, because Cleveland just does not have that kind of they don't have that kind of defensive energy and spark and fire to really slow the Knicks down right there. It would have been a much better matchup to me if the Pistons would have faced it, because the Pistons actually have the aggressiveness on their side of the ball defensively more than the New York Knicks, more than the Cleveland Cavaliers, excuse me. And I really feel like that would have been a much better matchup. But again, I just don't think Cleveland's matchup with them is just really on par. And when the game was getting out of hand, like Cleveland had a chance to cut the deficit, they just couldn't get stops. They couldn't get stops at any given point in time. Like, if Brunson wasn't hitting his shot, like, Josh Hart would come in and get an offensive board and get a putback layup. Same thing with Mikal Bridges. If he was missing, Cat or OG Anunoby would get a putback layup or a dunk. You know, it's just able to really crash and dominate the offensive glass, really finish out in transition. It was just too much to handle if you're Cleveland, and that really gave them a lot of big problems down the line. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on both games. And tell me what you guys think down in the comment section down below between both the Cavs and the Knicks and the Spurs and the Thunder games 2. So let me get on out of here, and let me let you guys hear what you got to say down in the comment section as well. So yeah, I'm out. Peace. Thank y'all for tuning in. Yep, I'm out.